Hello and welcome to Guy with Too Much Time. Today, well, this wonderful thing is what we're making. And what is this, you may ask? It is a mug cake, because it is a cake that you make, well, you make it within a mug. So obviously, in addition to all of our ingredients, you're going to want to have a large mug. So what are our ingredients actually? Well, 3 tablespoons of flour, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, a pinch of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips, 3 tablespoons of milk, 2 tablespoons of oil, and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. So let's go ahead and start by adding our 3 tablespoons of flour into our very large mug. And again, you want to have a large mug because you really don't want your ingredients to be probably more than half of this. So we got our 3 tablespoons of flour in there. Easy enough to get started. It's all-purpose flour. And we're going to go ahead and add our 3 tablespoons of sugar in here. 1, 2, and magic number 3. And then we're going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now, I'm not doing a heaping one here, and I'm just using the lid to sort of scrape off the top there to make sure that it's nice and even. You don't want it to be too chocolatey, and yes, there is such a thing as too chocolatey. So you're going to go ahead and even that out that way. Next thing you want to do is add your baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of this baking powder. Now, you want to make sure it's not heaping. You don't want to put too much in there because you definitely don't want it going over the top of your mug. We probably could have added a little more here to make it a little bit more, well, go a little higher. But that was actually a good start. Next thing we're going to do, anyone who's ever watched this channel knows we do a lot of mixing here. Mix like your life depends upon it. Because when we put in our liquid ingredients, we don't want them to make the dry ingredients like clump together, like all together. It's just better to have these things mixed so that, well, everything combines nicely when you do start adding the liquid aspects to this. So, after we're through getting that mixed, we're going to go ahead and add in our 2 tablespoons of oil. And I'm using vegetable oil, of course. I'm not using olive oil or anything like that. We're baking for like dessert, and I think that's more of a vegetable oil thing. So our 2 tablespoons of oil in there, just a normal vegetable oil. Then we're going to go ahead and add in 3 tablespoons of milk. I'm actually using powdered milk here. I've taken to using powdered milk a lot more in my baking and my cooking, just frankly to try to conserve on milk right now. Now I'm adding 3 tablespoons of milk into that, and after that I'm gonna didn't quite have that one thing filled, so yeah. Now we're going to go ahead and add in our teaspoon of vanilla. And actually you're going to notice here that my daughter's adding a lot more than just a 1/4 teaspoon because she kept spilling it in there. So obviously more or less is fine. It's not going to hurt anything. I think she probably added closer to almost a 1/2 teaspoon, but stick to a 1/4 teaspoon. Now a pinch of salt. Don't a whole lot. And then guess what we do next? That's right, we mix as if our life depends upon it, because on Guy with Too Much Time, we're all about the mixing and the combining and the making sure that everything is done right. We do it so good, in fact, that we mix at probably 3 to 4 times the normal speed of normal people, as you can tell from the video, which I don't think has been altered too much to reflect a high speed. Okay, maybe it has. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in our 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. More or less, depending upon if you really like chocolate chips. And that's fine. You could add other things in here too, as, you know, again, we're adding what we like. So we're going to go ahead and kind of mix that, being a little gentle. You know, make sure it's nice and combined, because you want those chocolate chips or whatever you're going to add in there, whether it be Jimmy's or whatever, to be in every aspect of your cake. Now you're going to go ahead and put this in your microwave oven for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now I have a 900 watt microwave oven. If you have a higher one, which you probably do, you're going to want to go ahead and modify this a little bit. And also, when you go to take this out, make sure you have a pot holder, because you will definitely burn your hand if you don't have a pot holder. So you're going to go ahead, take that out, and just take a look at that. That is a cake. I know it's definitely a cross between a brownie and a cake. It's really quite good. And what dessert is not complete without a little bit of whipping cream? And then after we put those whipping cream, you can garnish whatever you want. here we have mini M&Ms. Guy with too much time. Signing out. Please subscribe.